your unlimited power self-esteem information from last week. And we're at the run now because it's already 7:30. We're going to make it happen like we always do. Have some fun, make your vision boards. I actually brought a copy of my vision board. I'll show you what my sights set on. It's up there. It's hard to breathe up there where I want to go. Man, everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying? Well, I take that back. Everybody can go, but you got to have a belief. You got to be willing. You got to have that belief to take you there. You know, that's real talk. You know, a lot of us, just opening up, a lot of us believe that, you know, money is this paper that we have. You know, that's not money. That is really a piece of paper with ink. Money or wealth or prosperity is a consciousness. It's a consciousness. The consciousness is from this that is created. If you take this out of the equation, that wouldn't exist. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of us is out chasing the dollar. You know, we got our queens on poles out here thinking that that's what's going to help them to get that money they need. And not understanding that this is the queen, this is the mother of the universe on a pole. You feel me? And then we got other guys rooting her on. Where the men at? You know, that's like when I said last week, that's the world that I want to create. I want to create a world where we all get along. A world where we're prosperous. A world that there's no backbiting. There's no running people down and snitching and lying. And you know what I'm saying? It's a world that we can all do what we need to do and make it pop. One of the issues that I had growing up, jumping into the lesson, was self-esteem. It was my hang up. I'm not going to tell you no lie. Like I said, I had severe self-esteem issues. It was like I had to literally almost get sloppy drunk in order to talk to a person or to extend myself. You know, to get out there. Doing what I'm doing right now, there was no way in the hell, excuse my language, that I would ever do something like that. Stand up before people because I was too conscious or self-conscious about my flaws. So in here, we're going to talk about self-consciousness, right? And the whole concept of self-consciousness was all about, you know, when you're too self-conscious, it's bad for you because of this and because of that. The issue becomes, it's not that just being self-conscious is bad for you, but it's what are you conscious about? See, we all know that self-conscious is not a problem when we change ourselves and we're conscious of the things that we want to develop and not of the things that we are ashamed of. Does that make sense to everybody? Thank you so much. And not the things that we are ashamed of. You see what I'm saying? So let's jump on in. I'm going to start from the tip and then we're going to go down. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how we value ourselves. It is how we perceive our value to the world. And we know that word perceive means to what?
To look at how you interpret.
Interpret, thank you. It's how we interpret our value to the world and how valuable we think we are, to others. So it's how valuable we think. Have you ever had someone or have you ever told someone in your life that, you know, I value you, important, but they looked at you as if you didn't? Because that was their interpretation of how they thought, right? Self-esteem affects our trust in others, our relationships, and our work. Nearly every part of our lives. Positive self-esteem gives us the strength and flexibility to change our lives and grow from our mistakes without the fear of rejection. And we talked about the fear of rejection is oftentimes a lack of confidence, right? That when a person has a lack of confidence, then they fear rejection. They fear other people saying that, you know, you're not wanted. You know, why do we as a people, I asked this question before, let me ask it again. Why do we as a people have this need to want to be around other people?
Because that's how we learn.
That's how we learn, right? We seen it growing up. But some people, it's so bad until, have you ever seen a person that wanted to be around a group so bad until the group talked about and called them everything but a child of God and they still wanted to be a part of the group?
Yeah, to try to be accepted, to be loved.
Acceptance, right?
Stuff that you're not getting at home is when you go out to the streets or to other people or other things to confide in because it's something that you're missing at home.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about love when we get to needs and wants, right? But here's the deal. This is just my opinion. My opinion is that this thing that we was learned or taught that love is, it isn't. Because we got people out here in this world that will call you everything but a child of God. Everything, call you everything out of your name, and then turn around and say, I love you.
But
now come on.
Is there even really a definition for love?
Love is a sacrificial
love
gift
is
of one
like
person to another without asking for anything in return.
Say it again.
Love is a sacrificial giving of one person to another without asking for anything in return.
Why don't they need anything in return?
Because they're doing it out of love.
Mommy. What do you think? Let me ask you a question.
love is yes. Love is this right here.
That right there, huh?
Yes.
You see?
Love is like, it's something that sometimes can't be seen. Some people love you, but they don't even know how to show it. You know what I'm saying? Love is, it can be unconditional. Love, I mean, I just have different aspects. I do.
Yeah.
My perception. What's the word?
Perception.
Perception of what love is.
Your
Not saying
interpretation,
that
right?
what she said isn't right. You know,
everyone has it right.
somewhere
You're
too,
right.
but it's just like, you know.
Your interpretation is typically based on your experience. You just pointed at your son, you said, is this right here? That's your experience. You see? That's that sacrificial, what I just see was sacrificial giving. There's parents out here that their baby could have walked up and said, Mommy, give me a piece of that pizza. They would have said, no, get out of here. But you didn't do that. Okay.
Love is supposed to hurt.
It doesn't supposed to hurt. Okay.
Now, see, and I think love do hurt. I believe it hurts and it doesn't supposed to hurt. Like when I had said about a week or so ago when my mom and them had showed me tough love. You know, I know for a fact my mama loved me hands down. You couldn't tell me nothing no different even when I was out there. But they had to show me that tough love.
Yes. I would say love is an action absent of ill intent. So what does that mean? That means that I'm carrying out an action, but I don't have an ill intent. I don't have a negative intent to cause harm to you. My action toward you is to help you. See, love builds, right? Love empowers. And sometimes that empowerment comes in a way that we don't want it because it comes in a way of correction. You see what I'm saying? It comes in a way of uplifting. Sometimes it comes in a way of inspiration. Sometimes it comes with a swift kick in the backside. Let's be real, to empower or to get our children to move and do what they need to do. Right? We love them, so we discipline them, right? Now, even in scripture, it says that when a child or a parent doesn't discipline a child, it says that they don't love them.
Right.
They don't love them. And you know why it says that?
Because you train up a child with the way you want it.
Exactly. And the thing is this. If I'm a child and I'm getting off on the wrong street and I'm doing the wrong stuff, or when I say wrong street, I mean the wrong frame of mind, right? And I'm doing the wrong stuff. If my parent that knows better don't come correct me, then how much love is that? It really is.
But then here I go with that. With some people don't know how to show love. You know what I'm saying? You got parents out here that really don't know how to parent. Like completely don't know how to parent but really love their kids.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
So
There's been a point in time where my kids had did something and I didn't know how to address it or how to direct them in a different, you know what I'm saying, where I have to go ask somebody else, but that don't mean that I don't love my kids.
Say what you just said.
Which part?
You went and asked somebody else, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you extended yourself. See, the thing is that love is honestly a learned behavior.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means that a lot of people have different interpretations of love because it's based on their experience. You got women out here think that a man don't love them unless he's hitting them upside the head because that is their experience. And if you study them back, you'll see their mother or somebody that was significant or a woman figure that was significant in their life. You got a lot of men that feel like if this woman don't treat me a certain way, then she don't love me. Why? Because he's probably a mama's boy and came up out of his house that way and think that that's the love because that's the love that mama showed him. You see what I'm saying? The reason why I stopped right there for a second is because, in my opinion, I think that oftentimes we operate in a false sense of love. I had a gentleman tell me that he loved himself in a workshop I was doing over at another program and turned right around and said he put himself in harm's way. He said he hang out in places where he know people's going to get shot, have gotten shot or harmed, and the type of behavior that he do. And what I learned is that when I had low self-esteem, right? when I didn't love myself, everything that he said, that was the position I put myself in. You see what I'm saying? When I didn't have value for myself, and that's love. Love creates value. When you love yourself, you value yourself, right? And the thing is that I'm not going to put myself in a position where anybody can do anything to me that's harmful to me because I love myself. Does that make sense?
What if we don't know no better? What if that's all he knows?
Okay, that's all he knows, and that's perfectly fine, right? So what I say with that is that in life, we always have to be willing to grow. We always got to be willing to prosper. I'm not saying we kick this person to the curb. You know, I believe in calling a spade a spade. If he's a deadbeat, he's a deadbeat. I'm not saying that there's nothing that I wouldn't do to lift him up, to help him. I think what hurts us the most as people is that we're too concerned about hurting somebody's feelings that we don't tell them the truth.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? We don't tell them the truth. You gotta call a spade, call a thing a thing. My wife's been going back and forth with this relationship with her father. She's 40-some years old and never had a true relationship with her father. We've been married for 25. Oh, what's that?
Get down.
It's rolling.
Get down.
She's 25 years old and never had a relationship, a true relationship with her father, right? And I asked her one time, I was like, well, what do you guys talk about? We talk about this, we talk about that. I said, okay, when are you going to confront him and tell him the way he made you feel? Confront him and tell him about the times when you needed him the most, when things was happening to you, when a daddy was supposed to be on guard and he wasn't on guard. Because here's the deal. And this is what I come to realize, this is just my interpretation. Even though you call it a deadbeat father, there's some people out in this world that's comfortable with that term because it still has father in it. You either a father or you not. You see, what I show people to do and how to change their lives is to take the gray area out of it. That gray area is one of the most damaging areas in the world. Why? Because in the gray area, we're not that bad, right? Say, oh, I'm not that bad. Oh, it's not this bad. You see what I'm saying? It's either bad or it's not. And if you identify as being bad, if you identify as being something that I do not want, think about this right here, something I do not want, then what is the next logical thought? What do I need to do about it to fix it? What do I need to do about it to change it? You see what I'm saying? But as long as we say, oh, he's not that bad, you know, yeah, he tripped, but you know, he's okay. And then next thing you know, he does something to you, you 38 hot all over again, you know? So that's what I'm getting at. See, love is this thing, man. It's one of those things, like you said. I think that we need to investigate a little bit more because I'm going to be just straight up with you. The majority of people, in my opinion, don't even love themselves. The majority. We've learned to tolerate ourselves. But have we ever became acquainted with ourselves? Do you know you? You see, that's one of those things that we must become acquainted with. How did we end up in some of the worst positions in our lives is because we didn't know ourselves. That's just being real. When I became acquainted with Anthony, I began to like who I was. Man, there was times I hated who I was. You know? And when I was little, they made being an African the worst thing on the planet. I am a 70s baby. And every time we turned on the TV, all we seen was some Ethiopians running around with big bellies, man, and some mud huts, and looking like they hungry. And then some people got to come, Sally Struthers from Archie Barker. He got to come flying in here. We saving the children out here, knowing they was taking that money. Knowing they was taking that money. But they made being an African man. Let's go here. Come on. Listen, here's the thing, and this is just a God-honest truth. I found comfort in the fact that it said African American. Don't you dare not put American on it. Because I felt like it set me apart from what I was seeing. You see? How can we truly? Oh, you just now? I'm sorry. You need spice or something? Yeah. How can we truly become acquainted with ourselves if we're not even comfortable with our race? Does that make sense? See, the more I became comfortable with my race, the more this my mother had severe low self-esteem. Severe. And it was warranted. My father and them treated her horribly. I call a spade a spade. If it was my daddy, it was my dad. My father, my grandmother, and my uncle treated her seriously bad. My mother came up in the Jim Crow South. You see what I'm saying? Where it was a color divide between blacks. So you had the lighter skinned blacks against the darker skinned blacks. Now my grandmother and my uncle was very fair skinned, really light skinned, right? And my mother was dark skinned. She was the one that was pushed to do all the stuff that they didn't want to do. You know, she was the one that my grandmother would come because they was living out in the country and my grandmother moved up to the city to do work. So she would go down there, she would get my uncle, but she would leave my mother. So all these years of hurt and pain was actually there. And hurt people tend to do what? Hurt people, right? So if I'm hurting, what type of man am I going, if I'm a female, excuse me, a female that's hurting, what type of man is she going to attract?
A man that hurt.
Thank you! Why is that? Help me out.
We draw what we draw. It's attracted to it.
Exactly. So in other words, I must create the experience. Life is an experience. What does that mean? That means that whatever I believe, that's what I must create in this world of my experience. If I believe that I'm hurt, if I believe I have low self-esteem, if I believe that, you know what, that I don't have confidence, that, let me jump down to the bottom because we went over this last week. So here we go. So if I have a negative view on life, right? We talked about perfectionist attitude, blaming behavior. So if I'm focused on everybody else and what everybody else is doing to me and not me, you start to see what I'm saying? What am I going to attract or what am I going to create? That experience. You know, and that's the, I won't say but that's the reason why successful people are successful, because they create the experience in here and they go out and do it every single day, do the work every single day to make it happen out here in the world, and that's how it happens. Does that make sense to everybody?
That's like them.
Say it again?
They be around people who are like them.
Exactly. Because they create the experience. You ever heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together? You see? And what happens when a person with a negative mindset comes in contact with somebody who's positive?
The company
You keep, right? So what happens when somebody negative come in contact with somebody positive?
Cancel them out.
It cancels out. What does that mean? Sooner or later, they're going to do something to push that person away, right? You know what? Shirley comes over here, but she thinks she all that just because she got this thing. You know what I'm saying? We tend to manifest the canceling out in jealousy and hate of some kind. Every single time. Have you ever been somebody been jealous of you and all you was trying to do is just beat you? You over there trying to beat you? You trying to be helpful? You know, girl, you can do better, trying to lift them up, trying to encourage them, and next thing you know, they fire off on you. Where did it come from? Because what they believe, they must create that experience. I'm not trying to say not to help people, but what I'm saying is know what you're getting into before you get into it. Because when you get into it, your feelings are now invested. So when Shirley fires back on you in a negative way, now we hurt, right? This is supposed to be my girl. Boom, 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 boom. And then it goes from there. Now she done rented space in your head. You're supposed to be focusing on your thing, getting your stuff up, and you can't even focus on what you're supposed to be doing because you're concerned about what Shirley did. Does this make sense to everybody?
Yeah, preaching every day.
You know what I'm saying? Focus on what Shirley did. Shirley did this, Shirley did that. Let me tell you something. Shirley's going down because that's what Shirley's thought process is. You cannot lift somebody higher that believe they're supposed to be down. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
I think it's really crazy how somebody could have like more than you and be jealous of like how you deal with struggle.
Exactly.
My sister, she has her own place. She's married, but she's not with her husband. But like, she has a place. But I notice every time, like I tell her, like this situation right here is an upgrade from where I was at. And when I told her, like, I was hecka happy that I got accepted into this program. She wanted to know the full details, and then when I told her the full details, she was like, "Oh, well," like she was trying to downplay like my step forward. Like it maybe not a lot to you, but to me, it's big. I'm going to,
No, wait, finish up.
It's progress when you go from being in the shelter to being, you know, in your own space. Absolutely. I mean, it's not like an apartment like everybody else, but it was a step up from where we were at. And I'm all about progress. Like baby steps still move you forward.
It's an accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's part of momentum. Go ahead.
I just was like, I don't know. I just expected her to be happy instead of just trying to look for flaws.
Okay. Can I ask a question?